Pirate I was dug up by Robin, Chapter 621-640. Chapter 621 Attack on Sengoku. Just like Roland. Open black lens bracket for subscription. Close black lens bracket. Front of the main gate of the Holy Land Mariajoy, the situation suddenly became tense. Admiral Kuzan fell one step down. The extremely icy aura instantly enveloped the roadblocker, turning it into an ice sculpture. This sudden scene shocked everyone in the room. Everyone on Marine's side, including Vice Admiral, had expressions of extreme disbelief on their faces. Can't believe Kuzan Admiral actually did it. The other side. Front of the main entrance, all the guards directly under the Gorosei, 5 elders reacted immediately, holding all kinds of knives and guns, and approached eagerly. Admiral Kuzan, Marshal Sengoku, you Marine. The 2 government officials who were almost frozen were frightened and wanted to shout. The next second, it stopped abruptly. Marshal Sengoku stepped forward one step at a time. Lifting his hand, he took off the frog's glasses, and there seemed to be a flash of brilliance in the dark eyes, revealing an indescribable pressure. The majesty of Marshal Marine, Sengoku the Buddha, is now on a higher level. The righteous cloak behind, Walla, Sengoku automatically squeaked without wind. A terrifying aura permeated from his body, and finally exploded. That is the mighty and majestic Conqueror Haki. Like a tidal wave, it swept all over the place. Just like the Emperor's patrol, the king will rule the world. Boom, Conqueror, no one can match it. 2 government officials shivering in Admiral Kuzan's chill were the first to be affected. Under the impact of Sengoku's raining haki, his eyes suddenly rolled. If you don't even make a sound, it's a burp. This was followed by contingents of heavily armed guards rushing out from the gates of the Holy Land. At the same time, the figures of the elite guards of the Holy Land who surrounded the front in a charge posture were all solidified at the same time. Then fell to the ground. Weapons such as ping bell pong bang, knives, guns and sticks, as well as the collision of armor and the ground, came one after another. After a short period of time, the world was quiet. Into absolute silence. Seeing the government guards and the marine powerhouses who fell to the ground under the impact of Sengoku's Conqueror, their eyes widened. I was overwhelmed by the scene in front of me. Not only Kuzan Admiral, but even the always prudent Marshal Sengoku took action. What the hell is going on and what has happened in Mariajoy today? Even Mr. Sengoku, who has always been the most dedicated to his duties, has lost his heart. Not just disobeying the government's orders, but even at the expense of Conqueror. The faces of vice admirals such as Yamakaji and Dalmisia were extremely unbelievable. Compared to the deep consideration of vice admiral, the idea of rear admiral and the colonel-level marines was much simpler. Then think about the reasons behind Marshal Sengoku's move. At this moment, they were more deeply shocked by the extremely powerful Conqueror Haki revealed by Marshal Sengoku. Haki of Conqueror. Marshal Sengoku turned out to be king. What a powerful Conqueror Haki. It's no match for Doflamingo, Chinjiao and the like. Our Marshal, Mr. Sengoku has such a powerful Haki, it's amazing. Like a king on a tour, all things bow their heads. Is this Mr. Sengoku's Conqueror? ... The Marine Rear Admiral and the Colonel sighed and murmured, so excited that they couldn't help themselves. Sengoku didn't hear the admiration of the sailors. Still maintaining his own rhythm, he stepped over the unconscious Holy Land guard step by step and walked towards the door. Mr. Sengoku, you are really handsome today. With a bright smile on his face, Admiral Kuzan said in admiration from the bottom of his heart. Sengoku footsteps VV Meal. 36 years ago, Roland broke through the main gate of Mariajoy with Conqueror Haki. 36 years later, as Marshal Marine, he actually did the same thing. There is really no going back this time. A self-deprecating smile appeared at the corner of Sengoku's mouth, seemingly letting go of the weight in his heart, and strode forward dashingly. watching Sengoku disappear behind the door. Only then did Admiral Kuzan withdraw his gaze and set his sight on the ice sculpture mountain not far away. Kakaka is accompanied by a cracking sound of kaka. One after another crisscrossing large cracks appeared on the magnificent ice sculpture mountain. It finally exploded. The resolute-faced door god, with scorching steam rising from his body, stared at Admiral Kuzan. "Ah la la, Mr. Sengoku has entered, my mission is over." Admiral Kuzan's languid opening. "No." The persevering door god shook his head calmly. "No one can get in or out of Mariajoy now." With the voice of the persevering door god man fell. There was a loud bang from the door not far away. Dazzling golden light burst. A majestic golden Buddha rises against the storm and releases terrifying oppression. The root cause of martial Sengoku, who is called the Great Buddha by the world. Zone human fruit mythical Buddha form ability, battle Buddha real body. Chapter 622 The Sixth Old Star Luo Lin. No kidding. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. At the main gate of Mariajoy, the support of the strong Marines arrives one after another. At the same time, Holy Land Inner Battlefield. After the blonde old star William, there are three world's highest powers joined together. Enemy meets, he is very jealous. The atmosphere in the field was instantly tense. Just when the samurai Lao Xing and others couldn't help but want to do it, the fifth Gorosei, 5 elders finally arrived. As soon as he opened his mouth, the samurai Lao Xing and others were all shocked and pale. "Stop everything first, this is the order of Lord Yimu." Gorosei, 5 elders, dressed in dark blue suits and with long white beards and long hair, arrived, and stopped dignifiedly. "Ferdinand, what do you mean?" The old warrior star stared wide-eyed. "I am Sama's order, what did I am Sama say?" The curly-haired old star and the bald old star were also shocked. Lord Yimu, could it be that? The old blonde star William, who had a heart for Roland, seemed to have thought of something, and couldn't help showing a look of joy. Looking at the changes of his former colleagues, Ferdinand's eyes in the dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders became deeper and deeper. "Indeed, as you thought, Lord Yim heard your proposal, William." Dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders Ferdinand speaks calmly. "Really this is really good." Blonde star William is delighted. "Hey, I am, if he's here, how about letting him come out and meet him? After all, he's an old acquaintance who's been in a fight." Roland grinned casually. "Presumptuous. Bold." Hearing Luo Lin's disrespectful attitude, the samurai Lao Xing 3 immediately became furious. "Sir Yimu is still among the flowers, it's not impossible if you want to see." Dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders Ferdinand's eyes twitched, as if suppressing his inner anger. "I thought she heard it because she was nearby, but it was still in that ghost place." Roland waved his hands indifferently. The casual gesture made the Gorosei, 5 elders more and more dissatisfied and angry. "In Mariajoy, Lord I Am is the all-knowing, all-powerful God, everywhere." Dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders explained, "It's all right, don't blow it with me, there's something. Say something, and I can take him away." Roland Vivi Isho gave the old star William a meaningful look. "You dare." The samurai Lao Xing and the others, who sensed Roland's intention, glared at once. Dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders waved his hand, blocking his colleagues who wanted to do it. His eyes were cold. As for William's previous proposal, Lord Yim agreed. Dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders Ferdinand nodded calmly. "Nani? What did you say?" The 3 samurai stars 3 couldn't help but turn pale when they heard the words. The Supreme Lord I Am agreed. Are they really going to work on an equal footing with their former foe? It's crazy. Seeing this disgusting face dangling in front of their eyes all day long, there was nothing they could do about it. What a desperation this is. Just thinking about that picture makes them want to go crazy, go crazy. Hee hee. Read the images of the Gorosei, 5 elders, brains with, mind reading, couldn't help but laugh. Isho. That kind of development does have a bit of meaning, but how about it, Luo Lin? If you accept it, go to the flower room now to see Lord Yimu, kneel down and swear to surrender. Ferdinand in the dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders spoke condescendingly. Hearing what Ferdinand said, the 3 Gorosei, 5 elders who had been mad because of too many brain supplements all calmed down again. Yes. After all, the previous ones are just their brains. How could this bastard really be the 6th oldest star on their equal? It is absolutely impossible for him to lower his proud head and swear his obedience to Lord Yimu. Thinking of this, the big stone hanging in the hearts of the 3 samurai Lao Xing finally completely dropped. The blonde old star William on the side obviously also thought of this, and an extremely tangled and struggling look appeared on his face. Mr. Roland. Yamato, who was huddled in fear like a kitten, hid behind Roland, finally couldn't help but whisper softly at this moment. A heart almost reached the throat. Today's trip to Mariajoy, for she is simply the most exciting experience in her life. Invade the Holy Land, beat Tenryubito, and meet all the members of the Gorosei, 5 elders, the supreme power of the world government. He even learned about the secrets of the unknown world, the real supreme power behind the world government, the existence that the Gorosei, 5 elders would call the Lord, I Am. All of this is no less than the shock of the Odin and Roger pirates who arrived at the final island and learned the truth about the world. At this moment, what matters most and cares the most is Luo Lin's choice. Has become the highest power in the world, under 1 person and over 10 million people. In the world can ignore this kind of opportunity. Even if, ouch. Thinking about this, Yamato felt a pain in his forehead. Looking up, he happened to meet Luo Lin's smiling eyes, and turned his head with a guilty conscience. Don't dare to think nonsense anymore, and try to figure out Luo Lin's mind indiscriminately. Let me be the 6th old star and stop making trouble. Roland grinned. Isho. If it is the king of the world, I can barely agree. Chapter 623 Luo Lin vs Gorosei, 5 elders open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. If it is the king of the world, then I can barely agree. Roland said lightly. When this domineering and unparalleled words fell, the room fell into absolute silence. Gorosei, 5 elders, Yamato, and someone who was pretending to be dead on the ground were all breathless. In this simple and plain sentence, there is a general trend that I am invincible. This is Roland's power. Not simply to say, but really do it. The silence lasted for a while. King, Samurai Lao Xing's first-generation sword, the first-generation ghost, came out of its sheath for half an inch, breaking the silence in the hall. Bastard Luo Lin, how dare you say that in this situation? The old star with bald head and black suit has cold eyes. It's just a few defeated men. Roland shook his head in disappointment, his expression still relaxed. Damn, don't get too carried away. The curly-haired aristocrat Lao Xing shouted angrily. Hey, Ferdinand, there's no need to continue talking nonsense with this bastard now. The old warrior star is full of ghosts, and against the aura of the first generation of ghosts, he looks like a ghost messenger from hell. Even under Luo Lin's hands, he was shrunk repeatedly. The samurai star still upholds the heart of a fighter and has been defeated and fought again and again. Gorosei, 5 elders Ferdinand in a dark blue suit nodded. It's true that there is no need to continue the negotiation. Sure enough, we can only divide life and death, victory and defeat. Gorosei, 5 elders Ferdinand's old eyes gleamed deeper and deeper. It seems that there are countless fragments flying, revealing the slightest breath of time. Ferdinand, is there really no room for a turnaround? The old blonde star was struggling. William, you just need to stand and watch honestly, this time you don't need to intervene, as long as you don't cause trouble for us. The samurai star stopped. You will become what you are now, and we are also responsible, so the previous things will be taken over and will not be investigated in the future, but after this, The bald head and black suit narrowed his eyes slightly, and there was a strong sense of threat in his words. Needless to say, this guy William should know the importance. What we have to do now is to seize the opportunity and take this guy as we did 36 years ago. Curly-haired aristocrat Gorose, 5 elders curled up in a proud arc at the corners of his mouth. Boom! Just as his voice fell, an invisible domineering aura suddenly spread. The smile on the face of the curly-haired old star who was hit by the sudden and powerful haki suddenly froze. The spirit was impacted, and the unbearable memories of the past suddenly surfaced in his heart, causing his body to tremble involuntarily. This sudden conscious reaction was in stark contrast to his previous strong words. Aware of his gaffe like a bird frightened, the curly-haired aristocrat Lao Xing's face flushed instantly, his anger seemed to overflow into flames. The fire-breathing eyes suddenly locked on Roland. Then again, he was stunned. Because this powerful conqueror doesn't seem to be what Roland did. It is indeed so. This conqueror is strong enough, it is still a step behind Roland's. And the smell contained in it is completely different. Roland's conqueror haki is similar to Roger and represents freedom. But at the moment this one contains the majesty of an emperor. Who is it? The old star with the bald head and the black suit also screamed in surprise. In this Mariajoy, including the 5 of them, no one should have conqueror haki. I'll take a look. Samurai Lao Xing spoke in a deep voice, and his body suddenly rose up into the sky. It's still as majestic as ever. Luo Lin closed his eyes, feeling the familiar domineering aura, and the corner of his mouth raised a happy arc from his heart. Mr. Roland, do you know the releaser of this conqueror haki? Yamato widened her beautiful eyes curiously. Ah, that's my brother. Roland grinned Isho. After a while, the smile on Roland's face gradually faded. Sengoku, I'm already happy that you're here, but there's really no need to push yourself to this point. Roland whispered softly. Sengoku. A suspicious look appeared on Yamato's face. After a while, all the doubts turned into shock. Sengoku, is that Marshal Sengoku the Buddha? Yamato let out a shocked coquettish cry. It's Sengoku. Sky, the samurai veteran star with extreme speed returned quickly to inform everyone. What Sengoku, that guy actually. I didn't expect that Sengoku, who has always followed orders from our government, would do such an outrageous thing. Doesn't he know the consequences of doing this? It's a great sin of rebellion. The bald old star and the others were also shocked. Boom! At this moment, a collision sound like Huang Zhang Dalu sounded. The main entrance of Mariajoy, the golden light suddenly released. A gigantic Buddha bloomed with boundless light, and when the palm waved, a powerful and violent shockwave was pressed down. The invisible transparent barrier of Om ripples in a circle, blocking Sengoku's great Buddha shockwave. As this. Looking at the invisible barrier, the blonde old star William couldn't help but turn pale in shock. The time has come, and now is the time to catch turtles in the urn. Dark blue suit Gorose, 5 elders Ferdinand drinks. Chapter 624 The terrifying ability of Gorose, 5 elders. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. It's finally time to start, hunting time. ... King, sounded softly, and the first generation of the supreme sword in the hands of the samurai Lao Xing was completely unsheathed. It brings out a gloomy picture that is as eerie as Sen Luo's purgatory. Paramesha's speed fruit ability is activated, and the figure of the samurai star disappears in an instant. The stubborn warrior veteran star has healed his scar and forgot the pain, and this time he still wants to fight Luo Lin in the kendo battle. The dark and cold sword light is endless, it is the afterimage of the high-speed moving samurai old star. So fast. After seeing the samurai star at close range, Yamato finally understood how exaggerated his speed was. It's not at all a level that the human eye can keep up with. Not even the refined observation haki could catch a trace of him at all. Under the blessing of the most extreme speed in this world, the entity of the samurai star seems to have escaped. It is outside the three realms, and does not exist in this reality. Such an opponent, no matter how fast the speed is, you can't rely on the afterimage to shake the opponent to death. After all, you have to come over. Roland explained casually. But Yamato wants to say something. But the next moment, it stopped abruptly. The haze called death instantly enveloped her heart, causing her to feel cold all over her body unconsciously. Intuition told her that the samurai old star with the speed of the world was about to kill him. However, she still could not feel the slightest breath of the other party. Be finalized when the blade of the enemy passes through her chest. It's just that it's too late. Hold me tight. Just as Yamato's face was pale and he was about to give up, Luo Lin's voice suddenly exploded in his ears. Bring it back to reality from the abyss of despair. Oh. Yamato responded subconsciously. He opened his arms and hugged Luo Lin's body tightly, as if he wanted to integrate himself into Luo Lin, and hugged him with all his strength. Ding! The crisp sound of the sword murmured. That is the sound of the collision between the blade of the first generation of the Supreme Sword and the autumn water of the Black Sword. Damn, you actually blocked the old man's sword again, you bastard. The proud speed assassination was once again blocked by Luo Lin, and the samurai Lao Xing couldn't help but be a little furious. I said, old guy, are you brainless? I've said it many times. No matter how fast you are, it's useless. Your sword has completely exposed your position, obviously. With a relaxed smile on his face, Luo Lin opened his mouth to kill someone. Bastard, my sword is my martial arts. How can it become your eyes? Stop talking nonsense. Samurai veterans emotionally excited, rebuttal. That's why you're just a half-assed swordsman. You've lived so long as a dog, and you haven't made any progress at all, not to mention me, even compared to the eagle-eyed boy, you're still far behind. A sneering smile appeared on the corner of Roland's mouth. Asshole kid. Under the offensive of Luo Lin's words, the old samurai star was out of balance. Swordsmanship. The tactics between attacks are also lost. How could Luo Lin, who had been staring at him for a long time, miss such a great opportunity? A sword stabbed out. In the soft sound of Puchi, blood splattered everywhere. Heidao Chu Shui's blade pierced through the body of the samurai old star. Was his right shoulder, as it was 36 years ago. Ah! Pain struck. Samurai Lao Xing couldn't help but shouted, and hurriedly pulled back. The old face was full of hideous colors, and at the same time, it was even more terrified and unbelievable. He never imagined that he would step back every time. In the last Wei Sung incident, he at least fought back and forth with Luo Lin for a long time. However, this time it turned out to be, within 3 or 2 strokes, he was almost hit hard. Heidao Chu Shui's blade pierced the nerve of his arm. The terrifying sword intent further raged, destroying almost all the muscles of his right arm, and now he can't even hold the knife. Mr. Roland is amazing. The big and the little girl who hugged Luo Lin like an octopus murmured in shock. Although she can't see the specific process of the battle between Roland and the samurai old star. But just like this, the old warrior star is seriously injured and defeated, which is something that even her can see. It's okay, it's just that this old guy is too stupid. Roland waved his hands modestly. Damn little devil. Stimulated by Luo Lin's ridicule, the samurai veteran once again became angry, and he was about to use his intact left hand to hold the knife and kill him again. Enough is enough, Ganda, come back. Dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders Ferdinand snapped. Don't forget your state of mind as a swordsman, being affected by the enemy's words or stimuli. This is not the usual you. The old star with bald head and black suit is also a reminder. In front of this bastard, your sword has been suppressed by the innate, but you are the strongest assassin in the world, don't be brought into his rhythm. The curly-haired aristocratic star also spoke. Bystanders are clear, the authorities are obsessed. Under the reminder of his colleagues, the samurai veteran Kenshin, who was close to the runaway, also calmed down. Silently walked to the old star in the dark blue suit. That's good, this time it's us 4-on-1, don't make the fatal mistake of being beaten 1-by-1 like 36 years ago. Dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand spoke in a deep voice. His right hand fell on the bloody shoulder of the samurai old star. A layer of clear light with inexplicable power spread out from its palm. Next moment, wonderful things happened. The blood that should have been gushing out of the wound was now reversed. Not just that. Under the watchful eyes of Yamato, of the samurai veteran star that was pierced by the autumn water hole with Luo Lin's black knife healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. What the hell is? What kind of ability? Chapter 625 Time is respected. The ability to go back in time. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. This time it's 4-on-1, and the gaffe that happened 36 years ago is absolutely not allowed. Dark blue suit Gorosei, 5 elders Ferdinand resolutely speaks. The skill of speaking. The mysterious clear light diffused from his palm wrapped around the entire right arm of the samurai Lao Xing. What the hell is going on? Yamato cried out in surprise when he saw that the arm of the samurai veteran who had been hit by Luo Lin with the black knife Chushui recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. In addition to Yamato, the Gorosei, 5 elders and Luo Lin in the field are not too surprised by this picture. Mr. Roland, is that some kind of restored devil fruit ability? It's really troublesome. Yamato looked anxious and nervous. It was not easy to inflict heavy damage on the opponent's top combat power. However, the other party recovered in just a few seconds. It doesn't matter how. No matter how strong Luo Lin is, with the help of his opponent's recovery ability, he can only be consumed to death. Don't be afraid, big and little girls, no matter what. No matter what kind of ability it is, there is always a limit. Compared with Yamato's nervousness and anxiety, Luo Lin, who knew the details of Gorosei, 5 elders, was still calm and confident. The old man does have a limit, don't you have it too? Let the old man see who will reach the limit first. Dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand sneered confidently. Okay, I also want to know how many times you can go back in time. Roland grinned Isho. 36 years ago, the Mariajoy event. Roland stabbed Mariajoy 1-by-1. Although he was defeated in the end, thanks to that battle, he also had a basic understanding of Gorosei, 5 elders and Iam's abilities. Know yourself and your enemy, you will be able to win 100 battles. This is also the reason why Roland is still calm in the face of the Gorosei, 5 elders siege. 36 years ago. Gorosei, 5 elders didn't take it seriously for Roland's surprise attack, so they didn't go out in unison. The first one to go out, and the one who met Luo Lin was the old blonde star. With human fruit mythical model, Angel can have him, and his strength is indeed at the admiral level. Lin 2's new ability, Paramesh's ability to crush fruit, the blonde old star also suffered a big loss and was almost crushed on the spot. Just like the day of the Weisung event, if it wasn't for the samurai veteran who had the Paramesh's speed fruit, he arrived in time to save him. And shattered by Roland 36 years ago. Among the 5 highest powers in the world, the blonde old star William and the great swordsman warrior old star are the real top fighting forces in the world, and their strength is of course the level of the 4 emperors. As for the other 3 in terms of absolute combat power, they are almost meaningless. Example, the old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit is a master of hockey and fighting technique, but he is far worse than Garp. Not even Zephyr. But he is the undisputed leader of the Gorosei, 5 elders. Not just because of his brains, but also because of his abilities. The strongest auxiliary ability, Paramesha's ability to backtrack fruit. Time is respected, space is king. Time and space are enough to be called the most mysterious and powerful forces in the world. Lucky, you can gain the power of time and space through a small devil fruit. However, it is precisely because the power of these two systems is too powerful that weak humans cannot completely control any kind of complete system power. Through the growth of the devil fruit tree, the power of these two systems is also divided into many independent individual abilities related to it. So far, there are a total of 5 people with the time-related fruit ability known to Luo Lin 5. Kazuki Toki, S fruit of time, Ain, S fruit of regression, Foxy the silver fox's slow fruit, Supernova Jewelry Bonnie, S abilities, and now Gorose, 5 elders Ferdinand's fruit of regression. The purest of them is Kazuki Toki, S time fruit ability, who has traveled through time and space since the Great War 800 years ago. Kazuki Toki, S fruit of time gives her the power to traverse the long river of time, but she can only go against the current of time, can only go to the future, and cannot go back to the past. Contrary, the current dark blue suit star Ferdinand's Paramesha retrospective fruit ability can restore people or objects to a specific time node. At first glance, this ability is similar to Ain's Paramesha regression fruit ability, but Ain's regression fruit can only reverse the state of objects, and cannot be reduced together with other people's injuries. With the ability to go back in time, no matter how many injuries he suffered before, he can instantly resurrect with full blood. Of course, for such a power that is against the sky, some specific conditions must be met in order to use it. One of the most important points is, the injury of the person being backtracked needs to be within the time domain of the capable person, so that the time of the two is synchronized. In this way, Ferdinand, an old star in a dark blue suit, can retrace his own time node by adjusting and synchronize the state of others. Who was seriously injured in the Weisung incident, cannot be recalled because he does not meet this condition. The current samurai star's injury just meets this condition. With the dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand's strongest auxiliary retrospective ability, Gorose 5 Elders 4 can be inherently invincible. Unless they cut off their helpers first, swish. Chapter 626 Spaces King. Power comes first. Open black lens bracket for subscription. Close black lens bracket. In team battles, it is basic common sense to take the lead in solving the opponent's strong support. The dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand, who has the strongest auxiliary ability, Time Rewind, is present. No matter how seriously Roland injured the other 3, he was doing nothing. Unless they can be completely beheaded in one go. Even if the ability to go back in time is against the sky, it will not have the slightest effect on the dead. It's just that even if it is as strong as Roland, it is impossible to completely disintegrate the vitality of Gorose 5 Elders in an instant. There is really no other way to go back to common sense. Boom! Far surpassed the previous Sengoku Conqueror Haki's terrifying aura rushing out from Luo Lin's body. At the same time, with murderous intent and murderous intent, it was locked on Ferdinand, an old star in a dark blue suit. Under the dual oppression of Roland's ultimate conqueror and murderous intent, the dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand groaned involuntarily. Invisibly, the power emanating from heaven and earth was completely imprisoned, oppressing his body, making it difficult for him to even move. He has his realm of rewinding time. Luo Lin naturally has his territory of tyrants. Be careful, he's going to do something to Ferdinand. The old star with the bald head and the black suit looked suddenly, and subconsciously shouted loudly. Although Luo Lin's tyrant's territory didn't work on him, he was still acutely aware of the clue and reminded him aloud. "Don't worry, I'm still here." The last star with aristocratic curly hair grinned confidently. "Isho. Bastard Roland kid, don't ignore me." There is a cold electric flash in the eyes of the aristocratic curly-haired old star. The old wrinkled hands began to operate. Next second, dang dang dang, was invisible, as if several invisible space walls fell from the sky, blocking Luo Lin's square. The space is chaotic at this time. This is exactly the ability that the curly-haired aristocratic old star has. Capabilities of the space system. Time is respected and space is king. So far, the space system in this world can also have 4 people. 4 The first is Roland's own space replacement ability. I can see, a thought is there. One glance, 1,000 miles. Followed by the door fruit ability of 9 Killer Luno. The fruit of the operation of the deceased surgeon Trafalgar Law. The last person is the space manipulation of the curly-haired noble star. Through the chaotic space, set up dangerous space traps one by one, greatly restricting the opponent's actions. If the opponent is too impatient, they will step into the trap and be strangled by the power of space. This ability itself does not have a strong attack power. However, it is the best limitation, the ability to control the system. Just like now, in such a chaotic space, even Luo Lin's actions are greatly restricted. In addition, because of Yamato on his back, Roland's Paramesha space replacement ability is almost completely limited. It is impossible to move freely in this chaotic space. After all, even if his body is tough enough to resist the cutting force of space. But Yamato with thin arms and thin legs is a little sheep that is powerless to resist. I'm so sorry, Mr. Roland, I'm fine, so don't worry about me. The pretty face under the Yamato Prajna mask was pale. Obviously, he also knows that he is now Roland's biggest burden. Thinking of this, the strength of Yamato's slender hand hugging Roland was obviously weakened, and it was obvious that he wanted to take the initiative to escape from Roland's protection. But at this moment, clap, a crisp sound. Roland's right hand backhand landed on Yamato's pretty buttocks, awakening Yamato who was in chaos. Mr. Roland, you are feeling the pain from somewhere in the body. Yamato's pretty face couldn't help but fly up a few shy red clouds. I'm not weak enough to need a little girl to worry about it. Everything is expected. You just need to hold me tight, girl, and if you're really scared, close your eyes and sleep. Roland smiled. Looking at Luo Lin's confident and flamboyant profile, Yamato couldn't help being stunned for a while. With Luo Lin's words, Yamato's originally throbbing heart subconsciously calmed down. In the depths of my heart, I had a great confidence for no reason, confidence in Luo Lin. If it's this man, it's absolutely fine. Well, I see, Mr. Roland. Yamato nodded heavily. The slender hands hugged Luo Lin tightly again. The whole person is pasted, and the steamed buns are almost spread into pancakes. Soothing Dahe's turbulent emotions, Luo Lin's eyes fell on the chaotic space in front of him. Gorosei, 5 elders outside through the chaotic space, and the corners of his mouth raised a slight arc. Sensing the small curvature of the corner of Luo Lin's mouth, the old warrior star snorted in dissatisfaction. Up to now, you are still pretending, I see how long you can pretend. The curly-haired aristocratic old star spoke grimly. Between the waving of both hands, the fluctuation of space became more and more violent. Time is respected, space is king, but after all, only power comes first. Roland grinned Isho, his right hand punched. No matter how obstructed it is, just blast it away with absolute force. Boom. Chapter 627 The Weakest Gorosei, 5 Elders. Special Logia Ability. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. HMPH, it's useless, bastard Luo Lin, you can't escape today. The curly-haired aristocrat star looked at Luo Lin, who was besieged by space, with confidence and pride on his face. While speaking, his hands were as complicated as knots. Make the space around Roland more and more overlapping, building a perfect cage. Today, I am waiting for the 4 of you to join forces. You will have no chance, and what happened 36 years ago will not be repeated again. Dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand spoke quietly. Let it all end today. The bald black suit old star is ruthless Isho. The Gorosei, 5 elders have full confidence in the strength of their own team. Even the 2 4 sovereigns, with the cooperation of the 4 of them, would only be able to capture them easily. Although Luo Lin was stronger than the 4 emperors, he was still only one person after all. In a space cage. Roland's right hand slowly clenched into a fist, and the expression on his face was still calm and indifferent. Gorosei, 5 elders, tacit cooperation and joint defense were not shaken in the slightest. Time ability is respected, space ability can be king. But only strength is eternal. Strength is supreme. Crash, Roland's clothes swelled up, and there was no wind. Explosive power gathered in his right fist. The dazzling fist burst out suddenly. Sublimated to the extreme in an instant. Ding, punched out. Like a meteor streaking across the night sky and shining brightly on the earth. A Vizianta gang just seems to have driven the general trend of the world, blasting away all obstacles in the world. The layers of space controlled by the ability of the curly-haired aristocratic old star were shattered under the impact of the surging and unparalleled power of the strongest fist. Just like one dream bubble after another, it all vanishes into nothing. A dark space passage appeared under Luo Lin's feet. At the end of the space passage stood Ferdinand, an old star in a dark blue suit with a horrified face. 100 meters away, it will be there in an instant. Crush. Roland's palm that shone with shattering light fell, and it was printed on the old star Ferdinand. Absolute smashing force burst. One after another, bright shattering rays of light intersected each other, covering the solidified whole body of the old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit. Cut it into hundreds of pieces. But the next moment, strange things happened again. The dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand, who was touched by Roland's crushing force, was indeed shattered. However, there was no blood splattering from the wound. Flowing out of his body was a piece of silver-white liquid, metal liquid. This is... Roland Vivi raised his eyebrows, already knowing the reason. Ha ha ha, bastard, don't forget the existence of this old man. The old star with bald head and black suit laughed wanton. Finally showed his ability, Logia's unidentified metal fruit ability. About the ability of the bald black suit old star. Luo Lin had already experienced it 36 years ago. In the devil fruit ability system, the abilities of the metal category, such as Daz Bones, Slicing Fruit, Going Emperor Tessero's Golden Fruit, all belong to the Paramesha ability. However, the ability of the old star with a bald head and a black suit is an exception. As for the type of metal that the bald old star can transform and manipulate, even Luo Lin is not very clear about it. There is mobility of metallic mercury, but not quite. But there is one thing Rollins is sure of. That is, the body of the bald old star can indeed be metallized. S.Y. Rollins characterizes his ability as Logia. With this unknown Logia ability, the bald-headed black suit veteran can barely reach the admiral level in terms of combat power. It's just that it's all due to his special abilities. Body of the bald old star, the hockey and fighting techniques are unsightly, and they are a bit worse than Admiral Kizaru Borsellino. Just when Roland was thinking about the ability of the bald old star. In front of him, the dark blue suit star Ferdinand, who was shattered to the ground under the crushing force, completely turned into a pool of silver-white liquid. Ha ha ha, have you seen it, bastard? You shouldn't have forgotten the ability of this old man. The old star with bald head and black suit laughed proudly. Roland nodded calmly, and the corner of his mouth raised a teasing arc. What's so funny? The bald old star's face sank. I'm thinking that you haven't made any progress in the past so many years. Roland looked disappointed and shook his head gently. Hear the words. The smile on the face of the bald old star froze, and turned to the anger aroused by the humiliation. He recalled the unbearable past 36 years ago. Logia ability that he was proud of, the special Logia ability that was powerful enough to destroy a country, was of no use in front of Luo Lin. In the one-on-one contest, Luo Lin was approached in an instant, and then he was instantly killed with one punch. What a humiliation this is. Just thinking about it makes the bald old star's old face hot, and his heart is even more angry. This time is different, what happened last time won't happen again. The bald old star suppressed his anger and drank in a deep voice. Full Metal, Frenzy. Chapter 628 Lore. Smash the Dragon Fist. Open black lens bracket for subscription. Close black lens bracket. Full Metal, Frenzy. Stimulated by memories of past humiliation, the bald-headed and black suit veteran was furious. A blushing face and a thick neck, he shouted loudly, and his hands that exuded silver-white metallic luster slammed to the ground. Next second, an amazing change happened. The earth suddenly melted and turned into a silvery white metal ocean. Logia ability of the bald star so special. The same Logia capabilities can also be divided into two categories. The first category is incorporeal natural elements. For example, Fire Fist Ace's fire, Enel, S thunder, etc. Intangible elements are all created out of thin air. Unleash the power of natural disasters at the expense of your own physical strength. Theoretically, the power of intangible elements can spread infinitely. The second type, the typical sand fruit such as crocodile, is a tangible natural element, and the amount of sand that can be produced by a monomer is limited. However, if it is in special terrain, such as desert areas, his ability can also be increased to the greatest extent. Logia of the bald star is essentially similar to crocodile's rustling ability. But in this world, there is no home court suitable for him. The metal produced by his ability changes, even if he searches the whole world, he can't find much. A rare metal in rare. Perhaps it is for this reason that the particularity of this Logia's ability is created. This ability does not have a natural home field advantage, but on the other hand, it is the home field everywhere. Because it also has a special property called assimilation. Like Doflamingo's thread, Katakori's Mochi Mochi no Mi ability awakens. Logia of the bald star was born, awakened. It can change at will and assimilate the surrounding environment according to the will of the capable person. Is this an awakening of power? Looking at the unidentified metal ocean with silvery white waves under his feet, Yamato couldn't help but widen his beautiful eyes again in shock. It's still a long way to wake up this old guy. Roland said casually. Damn. The old star with bald head and black suit was furious, and the blue veins on his head burst out. Don't underestimate people, you bastard. The bald-headed, black-suited old star gave a loud shout and waved his hands up suddenly. Swish, more than a dozen metal fluids suddenly bucked the trend and rose into the sky, turning into poisonous snakes with huge mouths in midair, biting towards Luolin. Facing the menacing poisonous snake, Luolin didn't dodge or step down. Earthquake. The atmosphere was like a circle of water waves. Boom, is another punch from Jongjung Yamato. Dozens of metal orochi suddenly solidified, and then cracked every inch. Extending all the way down, even with the metal ocean, it exploded a group of metal waves. This is just the beginning. The bald old star moves again. The ocean of metal surges like boiling water. After a while, the body size ranges from 5 meters to 20 meters. The peculiarly shaped metal giant climbs out of the ocean and stands tall. This is the real power of the bald-headed old star, who claims to be able to destroy a country with one force. One after another, the metal giant soldiers even surpassed Cracker's biscuit soldiers by a grade in terms of combat power. Both strength and strength are far superior to the biscuit soldiers. It can even change various suitable combat shapes. Not to mention ordinary National Guards, but monsters with a bounty of over 100 million, if they encounter such a metal giant, they will capsize. How about you bastard Luolin? This time it won't be the same as 36 years ago. The bald old star who was guarded at the center by a group of metal giants laughed proudly. Hey, yes indeed. Roland's eyes narrowed at Vivi. It's good that you know, but I won't show mercy. The bald old star is proud. Compared to 36 years ago, the shape of these giants has improved a bit, but it's still far behind. Luolin, like a senior, said in a tone like a lesson to the younger generation. Hear the words. The bald old star, who had been complacent for a while, suddenly became troubled again. But he didn't wait for his anger to explode. Next second, the bald old star only felt his eyes flicker. A great danger warning struck his mind. He was approached again. The bald old star was horrified and realized this serious problem. But what was going on? The bald old star looked at his trusted partner in confusion. "Damn, bastard Roland, what the hell did you do?" The curly-haired aristocrat who was in charge of restricting Roland's movements shouted in exasperation. Because he suddenly found that the Roland he was staring at had disappeared without warning. His own spatial ability is the superior species of Roland's ability. However, at the moment, his high-ranking species has been completely put together. Ganda. The old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit, who also realized that it was not good, suddenly changed his face and shouted. Shoo, the extreme speed of the samurai old star. However, it was still a step behind. The high-pitched roar of the fierce beast of Aang exploded, releasing the fierce aura of dominating the 8 wildernesses. At the same time, there are also fine smashing rays of light. Smash the Dragon Fist. Chapter 629 Slap in the Face of Gorosei, 5 Elders Open Black Lens Bracket Subscribe Close Black Lens Bracket. Aang roared like a tyrannosaurus from ancient times, and the sound shook the world. The powerful dragon fist broke out at this moment. Immediately after that, there was another shattering light that even space could not bear. Perfectly fused with the ferocious giant Tyrannosaurus head, it released the fierceness of the world's strongest, and sent out a lure to the stunned bald-headed black suit old star. All this happened in an instant. By the time the other Gorosei, 5 elders reacted, Roland's smashing dragon fist was out. He once killed the strongest creature, Kaido of the beasts, with one punch, defeated Kaido's small half of the body's Zeon attack, and devoured the bald-headed black suit veteran in an instant. A deadly threat came, and the bald old star, who was already proud of himself, let out a terrified cry. In the end, the whole person was drowned in the splendid shock of the subsequent bloom, even with the screams. After a while, the roaring sound that lingered between heaven and earth gradually subsided and returned to calm. The earth is riddled with holes. Holy Mariajoy was almost razed to the ground. Even the city walls of the inner city are covered with cracks. If it were not guarded by some mysterious power, it would probably explode in the aftermath of the shock. Damn, bastard Roland. Curly-haired aristocrat Lao Xing opened his throat and let out a hoarse roar. In front of him, there is a big crack in the space, leading all the aftermath that rushed towards him into the space. Are you still a step behind? Samurai Lao Xing's right hand Vivi holding the sword trembled. The neutral blonde star William's eyes dimmed a little. After all, they are colleagues who have worked together for so many years. Watching him die in front of him, he naturally couldn't be completely indifferent. Not right. The dark blue suit star Ferdinand's eyes skyrocketed, and he shouted loudly. Not yet dead. Dark blue suit veteran Ferdinand swept out for the first time. Hear the words. Samurai Lao Xing and the others were stunned for a moment. The next second, they all reacted. Looking at the metal sea that still exists and has not disappeared, the faces of the Gorosei, 5 elders are invariably happy. Boom, in a soft sound. The edge of the metal ocean blooms with a splash. A bloody, broken head emerged from its head, dying. Hold on. The old star in the dark blue suit shouted loudly. Paramesh's backtracking capabilities are fully enabled. The misty clear light shone down, turning the time back. It's such a pity that he's still alive. Yamato widened her beautiful eyes and sighed regretfully. Of strength and physical toughness, the bald old star is far inferior to Kaido of the beasts, who is known as the strongest creature. But he survived by luck in Roland's lore hit. This is all due to this special Logia ability. It's just lingering. Luo Lin opened his mouth with ease, his gaze locked on the 2 Gorosei, 5 elders not far away, and his footsteps moved slightly. At this moment, an invisible light and shadow flickered. Samurai old star crossed sword to block. I won't let you do whatever you want. The curly-haired aristocrat Lao Xing shouted angrily, and the layers of spatial folds with full abilities descended, completely isolating Luo Lin from the outside. It looks like only 100 meters. But the actual spatial distance among them is innumerable. Such a chaotic and complicated space, not to mention the need to pass through, that is. The curly-haired aristocratic old star will take a lot of effort to unravel it. Oh, what a good thing this is. It's obviously a rare opportunity. Yamato said anxiously. Hee. In this regard, Luo Lin still did not have the slightest anxiety on his face, but instead raised a teasing arc again. HMPH, you can only be proud of it now, and the four of us will not give you any chance in the future. Seeing the smile on the corner of Roland's mouth, the curly-haired aristocratic star suddenly became unhappy. Oh. Roland responded calmly and looked up at the sky. Let's just play here today, I'll go first. Roland grinned Isho, saying goodbye to the Gorosei, 5 elders within the space barrier. Samurai Lao Xing and others were all stunned. Next moment. In their frightened and angry eyes, Luo Lin rose to the sky and charged straight towards the rippling invisible barrier. Damn. That bastard wants to run away. Gorosei, 5 elders, who sensed Roland's intentions, were instantly furious. Hurry up and solve this space cube. The samurai veteran urged. I'm doing it. The curly-haired aristocratic old star was sweating profusely and should drink. Don't worry, that barrier is the handwriting of Lord Yimu, and he will never escape. Ferdinand, a veteran star in a dark blue suit who completed the treatment, spoke confidently. What Ferdinand said is right, he can't escape, and the next step is the time of cat and mouse. I will definitely make his life worse than death. The bald old star who had recovered his life from the brink of death spoke viciously. It's just that the eyes that looked at Luo Lin were obviously a little timid, obviously not out of the shadow of Luo Lin's previous killing blow. It's all in vain, Kid Roland, I'm going to kill you today, and Jesus can't save you, I said. The old warrior star shouted confidently and firmly. Oh yeah, Roland responded lightly. In the time he spoke, he had come to the vicinity of the barrier of the sky. The right hand stretched straight, like the sharpest sword in the world. Everything is a sword. Kakaka, under the horrified and dumbfounded gazes of the Gorosei, 5 elders, the barrier that had endured Sengoku's countless shockwaves and remained motionless, cracked. Chapter 630. Enter the Holy Land, slay Tenryubito, and leave calmly open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. You are destined to escape today, and Jesus can't save you, the old man said. The Samurai Veteran Society roared with full confidence. The other 3 Gorosei, 5 elders also nodded their heads naturally. Thinking of the source of the power of the barrier in the sky, the 4 of them are determined in their hearts. In their imagination, in this world, no one can compete with this power. 36 years ago, Luo Lin fell under this force. 36 years later, the present will be no exception. They just need to watch the show calmly and calmly, sit and watch the other party do useless work, and finally find out that everything is in vain. When he thought that Roland's calmness and calmness from beginning to end would soon be gone, he could finally feel the feeling of being dominated by fear. 4 veteran warriors, mouths raised a smug and joking smile in advance. But the next second, the unexpected happened again. In the sky, the expression on Luo Lin's face was still calm and calm. Instead, the smiles on their 4 old faces stopped abruptly. Instead, everything turned into extreme shock, incredible and incredible. They saw that the barrier in the sky was pierced by Luo Lin's hand knife. What's the matter, old guys? Keep talking, why don't you talk about it? In the sky, Roland's palm stably penetrated the thin barrier, and his gaze fell on the Gorosei, 5 elders below, with a teasing smile on the corner of his mouth. Face to face is always the funniest thing to do. Feeling Luo Lin's playful gaze, the 4 veteran warriors looked stiff. I just felt a burning pain in my old face. Only then did they say that everything about the other party was useless and absolutely impossible to escape. Roland slapped them with his backhand even with actual actions. Their old faces snapped. This is really abominable. But abominable is abominable. Compared with the embarrassment of being slapped in the face, what they feel most in their hearts is shock. For the strange and frightening that Roland did. What the hell is going on? The old star with a bald head and a black suit screamed in shock. This barrier is the handwriting of that person, and it is absolutely impossible to destroy. The old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit cried out, no longer the calm of the past. It doesn't make sense why his hands, his body were not cut off. The old samurai star's terrified eyes widened. Is he really strong enough to compete with that power? The curly-haired aristocratic old star unconsciously gave birth to an infinite chill in his heart. Too strong, Lord Luo Lin's strength is beyond ordinary, so I tried my best to promote equal cooperation between each other, but... Remaining neutral, the blonde old star William, who was watching the battle, sighed helplessly. Then, old guys, come here first today, and you can look forward to it next time. Roland grinned Isho. His right hand pierced through the barrier, and then clenched his fist violently. Boom, was under the impact of a special force bursting out of Roland's arm. The cracks on the special barrier became denser and denser, and then shattered like a mirror, exploding a hole. The space inside and outside the world is reconnected. Go away. Roland VV Isho, carrying Yamato step by step out of the gap, disappeared into the night sky. See Circle Calendar 152, December 12th, night. The hero Roland enters the Holy Land Mariajoy, beheads Tenryubito, beats Gorosei, 5 elders, and leaves calmly. Damn, how could you let you leave so easily? If it spreads out, what's our face? The curly-haired noble Lao Xing's space barrier was untied, and the samurai Lao Sheng, who had regained his freedom, roared and was about to pursue. At this moment, a gust of wind blew up. The blonde old star William, who was always watching the battle, moved. The 6-winged angel stood in front of the 4 Gorosei, 5 elders. William, what are you doing? Want to rebel? Get out of the way. The curly-haired aristocratic star angrily rebuked. That's it, if you chase it out, you'll really die. The blonde old star William spoke solemnly. Asshole. 4 Gorosei, 5 elders are silent. Although I don't want to admit it, what the blonde old star said is indeed the truth. In their home court today, with everything in place, they failed to keep Roland, or even hurt him, and in the end they were almost defeated. If it is really one-on-one, the consequences can be imagined. There is also the scene where Roland breaks through the God's barrier, at the end, leaving a deep psychological shadow on the Gorosei, 5 elders. After calming down a little, they no longer had the slightest idea of chasing in their hearts. What happened here today must not be rumored. The old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit shouted coldly. Absolutely. The others nodded their heads and drank. Chapter 631 Against the Power of the King. Open black lens bracket for subscription. Close black lens bracket. The night is cool. Gecko is cool. Somewhere in the sky about 3 kilometers above the ground. VV fluctuations on a small special island cloud. Roland stepped forward with Yamato calmly on his back, standing on the island cloud. The night wind blew the corners of their clothes, making a hunting sound. Mr. Roland is amazing. Mr. Roland is so handsome. Who was hanging on Roland's back, blushed and cheered excitedly. Was previously stunned by the terrifying power of the Gorosei, 5 elders, once thought he was going to tell where he was today. Even if he can escape in the end, he must pay a huge price. However, the end result was quite the opposite of what she expected. Even with her burden, Luo Lin was still relaxed. Just so calmly escaped from under the eyes of the Gorosei, 5 elders. Even nearly killed a Gorosei, 5 elders on the spot. What an amazing record, and the barrier that Roland broke through in the end. Although Yamato didn't know what level of defense it was, she could already imagine a thing or two from the reactions of the Gorosei, 5 elders. That barrier must be one of the strongest forces in the world. Sure enough, as Mr. Odin and One Piece King of Pirates Roger said, "Mr. Roland, you are really the most incredible person in this world." Yamato murmured to himself. Recalling the previous events, the whole person is immersed in the shocking emotions, unable to extricate themselves. For a while, I even forgot to get off Roland. To this, Roland didn't say anything. Because at the moment he is also in deep contemplation, his eyes are deep and serene. Trip to the holy land of Mariajoy, in Yamato, in the eyes of the rival Gorosei, 5 elders. From the beginning to the end, Luo Lin was so calm, relaxed and freehand. However, only Luo Lin himself knew that this was by no means easy. Physical consumption was second, and computing power was the biggest burden. From the moment you step into Mariajoy, Lin's danger omen perception ability is to sense the threat in the dark. The dividing line is that road. If you cross that road, the danger will be multiplied. That's why Luo Lin always kept the battlefield beyond the dividing line. Afterwards, the battle with Gorosei, 5 elders is a hidden danger step by step. Even the old blonde star William remains neutral because of the suppression of the undead blood. Gorosei, 5 elders team with control, support, and strong attack. Even if they were stronger than Luo Lin, they felt the pressure. Surface, Luo Lin seriously injured the veteran warrior star in a few strokes. After that, he almost killed the bald old star. Everything is so easy and comfortable. However, if you want to do this, the amount of calculation behind this is huge, which is very imaginable. In this battle, the most important thing is rhythm. Keep your own fighting rhythm and disrupt the opponent's rhythm. For this reason, Luo Lin, who has always insisted on being able to do things, even used trash talk to influence the mood of the old samurai. Be the first to disrupt the opponent's rhythm and take the lead. After that, before the other party could react, he set up a space trap that even the curly-haired aristocrat Lao Xing could not notice, and got a chance to kill. Although the bald-headed and black-suited veteran managed to escape by virtue of his ability, the defense rhythm of the Gorosei, 5 elders was already in chaos at that time in order to protect their partners. That was also the best time for Roland to get out. Once missed, wait for the Gorosei, 5 elders to react, then imagine the present, unhurt and calmly escape with Yamato. The possibility is almost zero. Compared to the battle with the Gorosei, 5 elders, which was regarded as a barrier of absolute defense by the Gorosei, 5 elders, Roland was not too worried from beginning to end. As for the strength of that barrier, Luo Lin knew it. Has endured dozens or hundreds of Sengoku's shock waves of the great Buddha without moving, and the degree of firmness can be imagined. Such a thing beyond common sense. In Roland's expectation, there should be only the guy among the flowers. By this barrier must have the same origin as the thing that suppressed him for more than 30 years. If so, all the better. After all, the 36 years of deep sleep, the passive ability from the system, made Luo Lin acquire an interesting specific ability, the power of Anti-King. If it's just such a barrier, it's naturally not a problem. Mr. Roland, what should we do next? It's still very close to the Holy Land, if it is discovered. Yamato spoke weakly, with a worried look on his pretty face. No hurry, just wait. Roland spoke calmly. The sky is high and the birds fly. To now, without the barrier of that layer of barrier, he wants to go, but no one in this world can stop him. But now he wants to wait and see what the Gorosei, 5 elders would do to Sengoku who stormed Mariajoy. If anything really happened, Roland would definitely stop at nothing to kill him with a carbine. After all, no matter what, Sengoku was tired of him this time. How could he just watch his brother suffer? Chapter 632 Sengoku and Gorosei, 5 elders. Resign as Martial Marine. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. The cold moonlight is like flowing water, shining on the battlefield in the outer city of the Holy Land Mariajoy, a mess. The old man who represented the highest power in the world on the bright side looked gloomy and said nothing. The invisible barrier in the sky is also gradually dissipating. The plan to besiege Luo Lin failed, and naturally there was no need for this barrier to exist. At the same time, near the main entrance of Mariajoy, Sengoku, who was incarnated as a Buddha, suddenly raised his head. Looking at the streamer light that gradually disappeared into the sky, his face was stunned for a moment, and then he let out a long breath. Really, it's a lot of trouble all day long. Sengoku complained in a low voice, and released the Buddha form. After a short rest, Sengoku took a deep breath, a determined look on his face. Roland could just leave like this, but he couldn't. Since he made this choice, he has already made up his mind to accept the price. Swish, Sengoku slammed his feet on the ground and rushed to the center of the battlefield at full speed. After about half a minute, Sengoku came to this pitted and messy battlefield. Not far ahead, the Gorosei, 5 elders said nothing, their faces solemn. The invisible air emanating from the whole body seemed to freeze. Sengoku, the old samurai star, spoke in a deep voice. The bald old star sneered. After being slapped in the face by Luo Lin, playing a trick, and even nearly dying, they are worried that they can't find a target to vent their anger. Sengoku took the initiative to deliver it to the door, and they were most welcome. Sengoku, do you guys know what you've done? The aristocratic curly-haired old star asked. The Marine headquarters was alerted that there were intruders in the Holy Land, and came here to help. Sengoku replied humbly. Aid sounds nice, but I don't know who is here to help. The bald old star sneered. I would also like to know this question, with whom the Gorosei, 5 elders were previously fighting and what was the outcome? Sengoku asked earnestly. You. Listen to Sengoku's well-informed questions, samurai. If you don't get angry, you will get angry. Stop. The old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit stopped drinking. Fell on Sengoku with a strong threat and oppression. Sengoku, the person we sent to guard the gate should have told you Marine to go back. Dark blue suit star Ferdinand drinks and asks. Yes. Sengoku nodded. Why disobey? Gorosei, 5 elders. Ferdinand's majestic drinking. When the Holy Land is invaded by thieves, Marine has the responsibility and obligation to understand the causes and consequences and provide support. How can they retreat because of the verbal words of unknown people? If they are controlled by the invaders, they must confirm with their own eyes. Sengoku spoke solemnly and with reason. The unknown person is the direct subordinate of the old man. The bald old star angrily denounced. I haven't seen it. Sengoku's answer remained calm. Calm and powerful, it is irrefutable. First of all, being teased by Luo Lin for being out of temper, and then being speechless by Sengoku, the Gorosei, 5 elders are going to blow their lungs with anger. If the Gorosei, 5 elders feel that I am not good enough for the position of marshal, I will resign here, or I will voluntarily resign from the position of marshal and let it be at my disposal. Sengoku raised his hand and took off the seagull marshal hat on his head, and said the words that pressed down on his heart like a huge boulder. I don't know why. When this sentence came out, when the seagull marshal cap on his head was taken off, a relaxed smile appeared unconsciously on Sengoku's always stern face. The whole person felt an unprecedented ease from the inside out, and after many years, he once again felt the impact called freedom. With Roland, Garp, Zephyr and his comrades in the past, he has been bound by the title of the so-called marshal for too long. Sengoku, do you really think we can't find someone to replace you? The curly-haired aristocrat Lao Xing said angrily. Sengoku is silent. Since you said so, then. The bald old star spoke coldly. Before he could finish speaking, he was stopped by Ferdinand, a veteran star in a dark blue suit. The matter of your resignation as Marshal Marine will be discussed later. Ferdinand, you. The bald old star frowned in dissatisfaction. Enough, don't get carried away by anger, go back now. The old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit shouted. Ferdinand is right, there is no one who can replace Sengoku as Marshal. Sengoku is not at fault for what happened today. The blonde star William opened his mouth to excuse Sengoku. Samurai Lao Xing and the other three all waved their sleeves away with a look of resentment. Sengoku, that's all for today, but it's not over yet. The old star Ferdinand in the dark blue suit spoke quietly, turned and left. Don't worry, Sengoku, I'll take care of it for you. The last blonde star William throws a kind smile at Sengoku. This abnormal attitude made Sengoku even more puzzled and confused. It was a long time after the blonde old star William left, but he still couldn't regain his senses. Mr. Sengoku. Just then, a faint voice sounded from Sengoku's feet, awakening him from his astonishment. Boom, sounded softly. Like a groundhog breaking out of the ground. Alternate Admiral Chaton Tokikake's disgraced head sprang out of the ground. Tokikake, why are you here? Sengoku couldn't help but stare again in surprise. Mr. Sengoku, things are really serious. Chapter 633 The Shocking Kuzan and Sengoku. Subscribe. Marine Headquarters, Marshal's Office. It's all right, it's finally safe and sound. Sengoku, who had returned from the Holy Land, informed people thousands of miles of the results through a phone bug. Phone Worm hung up with the gasp of relief and the slight sob. Sengoku put away the phone bug and looked out the door. Come in. With the words of Marshal Sengoku fell. Had been waiting outside for a long time, and Chaton Tokikake, who was still in shock, pushed the door open. Have everyone else gone back? Sengoku folded his hands, pressed his chin, and asked in a deep voice. Everyone went back and waited for the news. Admiral Kuzan said with a smile. Then why haven't you left yet? Sengoku looked at Kuzan. La, didn't I use my ability to calm down Tokikake? Admiral Kuzan spoke earnestly. Sengoku. Okay, I'm also curious, what happened to the Holy Land earlier, and what a handsome thing Mr. Roland did. Admiral Kuzan confessed. Forget it, Tokikake, talk about it carefully. Sengoku looks back at Tokikake. Chaton Tokikake nodded heavily. When even from their encounter with Roland, the killing of Tenryubito Roswald, and later between Rollins and the Gorosei, 5 elders, that series of shocking unfolding informs both Sengoku. Hearing the shocking events from the eyewitness Tokikake, both Kuzan and Sengoku, who were the only two in the room, opened their mouths involuntarily. The eyes are even more rounded, and the whole person is occupied by extremely shocking emotions from the inside out. The huge marshal's office fell into absolute silence. For a long time. Gudong, Admiral Kuzan's Adam's apple rolled hard. Rolo, Mr. Roland almost became Gorosei, 5 elders. Admiral Kuzan's voice was raised more than an octave. His face was filled with extreme shock, disbelief and incredible. After all, the name Gorosei, 5 elders represents the highest power in the world. Gorosei, 5 elders William actually. Is it because of it? Sengoku keenly thought of the reason why the blonde old Lien was abnormal. Only in this way, whether it is recommending Roland to become the supreme power, or finally favoring him, there is a perfect explanation. Boom. A soft sound. It was so clear in the dead marshal's office. Look at the note that appeared out of thin air on the desk. Admiral Kuzan tilted his head in confusion. Like a frightened bird, Chaton Tokikake tensed his body in an instant, ready to fight. As for Marshal Sengoku, he reacted after a moment of surprise. That bastard. Sengoku laughed and scolded, picked up the note on the table and opened it. Yo, Sengoku, long time no see, I can rest assured that you are still alive and kicking. Thank you very much today. Don't worry, if you were really locked up in Impel Down, I will definitely punch through Impel Down this time and fish you out. Smiley hum, thank you so much. Sengoku pouted and hummed. However, do you still have time to take care of my side right now? You are self-willed and reckless. I can't cure you, but someone can. Sengoku whispered to himself, and the corner of his mouth unconsciously raised a big arc. At the same time, a roof in the Marine headquarters. Roland clapped his hands. Then, let's find a place to rest for the night. Roland smiled to himself. Take a step and disappear without a trace in an instant. 5 minutes later, an island shimmering dreamily under the light of Gecko appeared in the sight of the two of them. Here are the islands of Sabayati. Sabayati incident a few months ago, the Sabayati Islands are now much deserted. The number of pirates on the island has been greatly reduced. Even the pirates on the island adhere to the principle of keeping a low profile and dare not make trouble. This is the Sabayati Islands recorded in the log. It's so beautiful. Yamato's beautiful eyes, still leaning tightly on Roland's back, shone brightly, and exclaimed and sighed in surprise. If you want to play, it's still tomorrow. Roland Vivi Isho. Take one step. Next second, Roland and Yamato appeared in the solitary mangrove area of Sabayati Land number 13. This is where Shaki's rip-off bar is located. Even though the owner of the bar has left, the bar is still not deserted. Was handed over by Shaki to his intelligence officers, and served as Wei Sung's stronghold in the Sabayati Land. Shaki's rip-off bar. What a strange name. Will anyone really come to drink with such a name? Yamato reviews softly. Aren't we coming? Roland said casually. Yamato. Speaking of which, big and little girl, how long are you going to hang on me? Roland finally had no choice but to remind. Ah. Yamato was taken aback. Immediately, he finally responded. Yeah. Coquettish voice, the stiff body and the gorgeous fell to the ground. Chapter 634 It's finally here. Open black lens bracket for subscription. Close black lens bracket. Silent night. Mangrove area of number 13, Sabayati Islands. The girl's panicked and coquettish cries sounded from the empty grass. Under Luo Lin's reminder, Yamato finally woke up suddenly. Realizing the fact that she still hugs Roland like an octopus until now. It has been nearly an hour since Mariajoy got away. However, but she was unconscious. It was still hanging on Roland's body as before. What a shame this is. No longer a child. Furthermore, even when she was a child, she had never hugged a man for such a long time. So close. I am sorry, Mr. Roland. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Yamato apologized repeatedly. The slender hands moved in unison with the slender legs, struggling to get down. However, because of maintaining the same posture for a long time, the muscles of the body are in a state of rigidity and uncontrollable for a while. It's okay, don't worry about it, just take your time. Roland smiled reassuringly. After struggling for half a minute, Yamato finally manipulated his stiff hands and feet to get out of Roland's body. Groaning and groaning, who failed to stand up? Alas. Roland shook his head helplessly. Turn around and crouch in front of Yamato. No problem, Miss Yamato, with your strength, you won't be able to do this. Roland rode. It's alright, it's just a little weak in the legs, and it will recover soon. Yamato smiled awkwardly. That's fine. Roland smiled and nodded. Tingle Bell is here. The doorbell of the ripped bar rang behind the two of them. A girl in a peaked cap pushed open the door and walked out. There is also a phone bug for remote contact in his hand. Yeah, as expected of Miss Shaki, Luo. Mr. Luo Lin is really here. Shaki's number 7 intelligence officer, the young girl Zelina let out a shocked and tender cry. Yo, good evening, little girl. Roland clapped his hands and got up, smiled and greeted the stunned girl in peaked cap number 7 at the door. Roland bastard, you are still the same. A sound of gnashing of teeth came from the electricity. Oh, it's Shaki, what a coincidence. Roland greeted with a smile. The old lady has put all her net worth on you this time, aren't you going to say anything now? Thousands of miles away in the Waisung headquarters building, Shaki clenched his teeth. Ah ha ha. Roland snorted embarrassedly. Ha ha, you are tall, ha ha, you are our leader now. Next time you do something like this, please let me know if you can do it again, my heart really won't be able to take it. Shaki spoke resentfully. Sorry, next time. Roland said with a rare apologetic smile. By the way, Shaki, shouldn't Robin and the others know about tonight's events? Roland asked tentatively. Hey, if you want them to know about your heroic feats, I'll go to Sky Island and talk to them now. Shaki rode. Don't, please don't, miss. Roland quickly refused. Hey, who's your old man's eldest sister? Shaki is dissatisfied. That little girl. Roll. The loud bang of the door being violently slammed open suddenly. Not Sabayadi, Waisung. Shaki, I heard Roland's voice, did you get in touch with that guy? Garp's voice came from the phone bug. The shock made Roland unconsciously put the phone bug further away. Is that you, Roland? Garp's voice became clearer, clearly having the phone bug in his hands. It's here, you can hear it quietly. Roland bared his teeth. Roran, what the hell are you doing tonight? If it wasn't for the contact from Sengoku, I don't know, I've been completely kept in the dark by you. Garp's questioning sounded like thunder. Aga, it really is Sengoku, since Garp knows, then Suru's sighed. Thinking of this, Luolin couldn't help grinning, and there was a rare trace of unease in his heart. Phone bug on the other side. Garp's thoughts full of resentment continued. Just that Roland went in from his left ear and out of his right ear, and didn't hear it at all. From time to time, you should drink a few times perfunctory and forget it. And, when it was almost over, Luolin finally spoke. Okay, I'm fine, but then again. Garp, you, in the middle of the night, forced your way into Shaki's room. If that old boy really knew about it, he might have tried his best to find you. I can't help you. Roland bluntly changed the subject. Roland, are you looking down on the old man? It's just Rayleigh, I don't need your help. Garp self-confessed. Bang, when, Shaki, what are you beating me for? If you two old guys dare to talk nonsense again, the old lady will tear your mouth apart. Shaki said viciously. PFF'd, I'm sorry. Garp oiled the soles of his feet and ran at the speed of light. Ahahaha. Shao, you won't be able to laugh after a while. I have already told the contact method to the person over there at 6. You can ask for your own blessings. Shaki threatened. Gah. The smile on Roland's face stopped abruptly. Some phone bug on the edge of the blue bar rang. Ji Dong, Luolin's Adam's apple rolled with rare difficulty. Got. It's finally here. Chapter 635 Heroes have troubles too. Rollins will panic too. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. Shaki's ripping bar in the mangrove area on the 13th island of Sabayadi. A faint light illuminated the bar. Edge of the bar, a small phone bug, Blubble, kept calling. Mr. Roland, this is your contact. Jelina, the girl in the peaked cap of number 7, flashed her bright eyes and looked curiously at the legendary man in front of her. This is her first encounter with the legendary marine hero in real life. Of her age is naturally the most curious about legendary heroes or something. The image of Roland that she saw with her own eyes fulfilled all her fantasies about the hero in her heart. But there was also something she hadn't thought of. The joyful interaction between Roland and Shaki, and another marine hero Garp, which he had heard before, made her know that the hero Roland was not a cold-hearted type, but was very approachable. And now, the hero who is drinking alone and has a troubled face. It's unbelievable. Even the invincible hero Luo Lin has troubles sometimes. Mr. Hero is in the end of what is in this world. What is wrong? Is there a legendary hero? Ah, I want to know. Chidu's hat girl Jelina is curious. Compared to the fire of gossip burning in the heart of little girl Jelina. At the moment, the big and the little girls are much quieter. Just taking one cup after another to drink to suppress the shock. The shyness of being with Roland for a long time. The phone bug on the blue bar table rang for half a minute. Roland gulped down the iced rum from the glass. The slamming sound of the wine glass brought the thoughts of the girl in the cap number 7, Jelina, back to reality. Little girl Jelina, fill me up with another glass. Besides, the room inside should be unused now. Roland pointed to the special dark room in the bar. Well, I'm alone here now. Jelina, the girl in the peaked cap of number 7, subconsciously filled Luo Lin and nodded stunned. That's fine. Luo Lin got up, holding the wine glass in his left hand and the phone bug in his right. In a blink of an eye, he entered the house. Yahahahi, it seems that I can only ask Alice in the future. Zelina, the girl in the peaked cap of number 7, shrugged her shoulders with regret, and turned to approach Yamato. The other side. In the dark room. Luo Lin drank half a glass of wine, and finally connected to the phone bug. Dad. A cry of anxiety and urgency came first. From the head office candidate Admiral Momoshige Gion. Dad, is it your father's business? Gion asked anxiously. Ah, it's me, I'm fine. Roland replied calmly. Call. On the other end of the phone bug, Gion let out a long breath. It's great, it's really great that Dad is okay. Gion was relieved. Happiness in the words, 3 points and 3 points of ease and great joy. Dad, you don't worry at all. As your daughter, I am very tired to say. After rejoicing and rejoicing, Gion couldn't help complaining bitterly. Ah ha ha. Roland smiled awkwardly again. He really had nothing to say about what happened tonight. Furthermore, he was only sneaking in secretly, and Suru, Garp, and others who were thousands of miles away should not have known so quickly. All because of Sengoku's broken mouth. Why didn't he realize that Sengoku's mouth was so big before? Luo Lin thought to himself. Thinking about it, Luo Lin thought of something again. It seemed that Gion was talking from the beginning to the end, but Suru didn't respond. Gion, by the way, where is Suru? Isn't she by your side? Roland interrupted Gion's thoughts. Sister Crane is here. Gion replied. Then why don't you speak? Roland asked. Sister Crane said she doesn't want to talk to Dad. Gion rode. So that's the case, then hand over the phone bug and I'll talk to her. For this situation, Roland is not very surprised. It has been encountered before. So this time, I had already anticipated it and prepared a countermeasure. Only this time, something seems to be wrong. When Luo Lin, as always, sincerely admitted his mistake, apologized, and waited for the scolding from Suru, all he heard in the end was a burst of crying. Suru cried. A strong woman like Suru cried. She was sobbing like a normal weak woman. It's just unbelievable. Hearing Suru's abnormal cry, Luo Lin was completely dumbfounded, and was at a loss for a while, not knowing what to do. It's all my father's fault. Sister E's tears will be shed for my father. Come back soon, father. Gion's resentful voice came from the side. Sorry, you wait, I'll be back now. Luo Lin was also completely panicked at the moment. After drinking the remaining half of the glass of wine, hang up the phone and go out. Mr. Roland, have you finished contacting? Looking at Luo Lin who went out, Jelina asked subconsciously. Roland nodded. I have something to do now. You want to go out, when I'm not here, little girl Zelina, take Da around the island. Roland ordered. Wrap it on me. Zelina patted the bear's breast. Roland nodded. Go straight out, 8,000 miles away. Chapter 636 Holy Land Event Follow-Up. 40 Years of Promise. Open black lens bracket for subscription. Close black lens bracket. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. The endpoint of the first half of the Great Route, the Sabayati Islands, is as calm as ever today. The pirates still hold their tails and act low-key. Not to mention the arrogant Tenryubito. Due to the Mariajoy incident 3 days ago, the Tenryubitos are now all in danger, huddled in the Holy Land, afraid to go out again in a short time. Aside from, Tenryubito was frightened and stunned, the Mariajoy incident this time didn't make much waves around the world. The reason is, of course, the world government. The hero Luo Lin attacked the Holy Land at night and killed Tenryubito. Such a rebellious thing should have been the best time to obliterate his heroic aura. It's just that in this case, the Gorosei 5 elders also have their own scandals that they want to hide. Except, for fear of being involved in the big event 36 years ago. The Gorosei 5 elders don't even want the blonde old star William to become Roland's younger brother, and even invite him to become the Gorosei 5 elders. If this kind of thing spreads out, they will really lose face. Majesty is no longer, and it has completely become the laughingstock of the world. This is the worst thing the Gorosei 5 elders can bear. So even if they suffered a big loss this time, they could only choose to settle down. Broke my teeth and swallowed it as if nothing had happened. 4. The forbearance of the Gorosei 5 elders and the world government, Roland is happy to see it succeed. After all, if this matter is announced, Luo Lin doesn't care what the civilians think. Roland only knew that his phone bug might be bombed again. Time. Zephyr and others on the front lines of the West-North Blue battlefield will also be affected. And those in Waisung, little girls. Good guy. He couldn't stand the tossing with just one suru. If all the little girls were crying beside him together, Luo Lin's head would have exploded. But, this time it's really been put together. Sabayati Land number 13 Mangrove Area. Luo Lin put his right hand on his waist and grinned at the rising sun. I should have thought that it's a routine for a strong woman like Suru to cry like a little girl. I won't believe it next time. While muttering, Roland pushed open the door of the knock bar. The crisp bell of, ding bell bell, rang. House, a pair of big eyes stared at 2 pairs of small eyes. The atmosphere seemed to freeze. Looking at the sudden scene in front of him, Luo Lin couldn't help widening his eyes in surprise. The other side. Yamato and Zelina, who were playing a dress-up game on the edge of the bar, also paused in the movements of their hands. Ya-ah-ah-ah. After a moment of dead silence, the shrill screams of the girls resounded through the bar. A large patch of colorful dresses, accompanied by some things with scarce fabrics, drowned Luo Lin like rain. After half an hour, the chaotic bar returns to its usual calm. Jelina, the girl in the peaked cap number 7, wiped the bar by herself. Yamato, who put on his original clothes, sat without saying a word, using a prajna mask to hide his true expression. Ah ha ha. Roland smiled awkwardly. If it was normal, he wouldn't mind enjoying it. It's just that I'm not really interested right now. Really, Mr. Roland, why didn't you knock on the door when you came in? It took me 3 days, and I even set an example to finally persuade Yamato to change into beautiful clothes. The girl in the peaked cap number 7, Jelina, said with some resentment. Sorry, but I didn't expect you to be in the room, so I changed it here. Aren't you afraid that a guest will suddenly come to the door? Roland hit haha. My small shop has been out of business for several months. Besides, I have pulled a lot of alarm lines outside. If anyone comes, I will receive an alert here. It's only you, Mr. Luo Lin, who is mysterious. I came here without realizing it. It doesn't matter what I say, it's just that Big Sister is a very traditional person. Jelina, the girl in the peaked cap of number 7, flashed big eyes and blushed. It's really hard to do. Roland patted his forehead. By the way, little girl Yelena, did I have the coding boat that Shaki prepared for me a week ago? Roland asked. The boat has already been prepared, but Mr. Roland, the boat is too small. Both of them are too crowded, and there is no control system. What kind of boat do you want? Yelena asked in confusion. To Fishman Island, of course. Rollins said of course. What Fishman Island? Jelena, the girl in the peaked cap of number 7, was stunned. At the same time. On the other side, Yamato, who was in autism, suddenly raised his head. The beautiful eyes that were originally filled with shame suddenly sparkled, full of joy and anticipation. Fishman Island, are you going to Fishman Island next? Yamato completely forgot the previous shameful things, with a look of excitement and hope. Ah, it's Fishman Island, a promise made 40 years ago, I have to go there anyway. Chapter 637 High, really high. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. Sabayadi Land Number 3 Mangrove Area. Sabayadi Earth Incident. A few months ago, Tenryubito Charles Ross punched the legendary pirate Hades Rayleigh. And this set off a series of chain reactions. The most terrifying of them is the peak match between Roland and Admiral Kizaru. That battle directly or indirectly wiped out nearly half of Sabayadi's lawlessness. Auction is located, the number 8 mangrove where human traffickers gather, etc. Owed a huge debt to Roland because of the shooting of Diamante, but it was a blessing in disguise and survived. Island owner, who controls the mangrove tree number 3, is still working hard to settle the debt he owes. He is responsible for the coating of today's small wooden boats. Lord Zelina, everything has been prepared as instructed, please check. The mangrove number 3 feet island owner, with a stern face, has a flattering smile on his face. The words were addressed to Zelina, but those small eyes were always on Roland. Goodbye after a few months. How could he not know Roland's identity? To be able to be used by the legendary hero, for him, it is simply a great honor. In addition, the most important point is that there is a hero's name covering it. Even the powerful Don Quixote family in the Dark World did not dare to settle accounts with Diamante. Fatty, you are lucky today. You are fortunate to see Mr. Roland with your own eyes, but after you have seen it, you can get out of the way. It's not something you can know. Zelina, the girl in the peaked cap of number 7, waved her hand. Yes. Hearing this, Fatty Mangrove number 3 feet island master, immediately fell to the ground in fear, then straightened his body and rolled away. This fat man. Jelena raised her eyebrows unexpectedly. What a humble person. Yamato sighed softly. In this world, everyone has their own way of living. Roland said calmly. Let's go. Having said that, Luo Lin walked to the shore first. Even though what Roland wanted was just a common boat, the fatty islander still presumptuously added a lot of luxurious decorations. But for Roland, these things were optional. This coated boat was specially prepared for Yamato. If it was just Roland himself, there would be no need for a coating boat at all. Just like decades ago, just jump into the sea, take a nap, and Fishman Island will arrive. Mr. Roland, do you and Yamato really want to use this boat to go to Fishman Island? It's too dangerous. Hey, it's 10,000 meters deep. The girl in the peaked cap number 7, Jelena, widened her beautiful eyes in shock, and confirmed it for the last time. Is there a problem? Roland's answer remained calm. I think, if a big man like Mr. Roland wants to go to Fishman Island, at least he has to come with a decent ship that can be seen to be worthy of your status. Yelena suggested. I'm just an ordinary person who is a little stronger. Roland waved his hand. Yelena, God, he's just a little stronger. Godly ordinary people. Is there any ordinary person on this sea who can kill the Emperor of the Sea? Just when Jelena, the girl in the peaked cap number 7, was still immersed in the world of Tukao, Yamato, who stepped out of the shadow of shame, took the lead to step on the jelly-like coating ship. The pretty face under the Prajna mask is full of curiosity about the coated boat and the expectation of the dream island recorded in the Bible. Mr. Roland, when are we leaving? Yamato urged excitedly. Right now. Rollins responded. Crash, just as Luo Lin's voice fell, a violent wave suddenly appeared on the calm sea. A huge waterfall broke out from the sea. When the sea water fell, the huge pitch-black snake head below it caught the eyes of the girl Zelina. Sea kings. The voice of Jelena, the girl in the cap of number 7, increased by more than an octave, and panic were written on her small face. Don't be afraid, Jelena, Xiaohei is Mr. Roland's subordinate. This time, it should be here to take us to Fishman Island. After being with Roland for a few days, Yamato understood Roland's intention for a moment. The Sea Kings they are Mr. Roland's subordinates. We are going to Fishman Island with this super large Sea Kings. Jelena, the girl in the peaked cap number 7, was stunned again. Previously, she was worried that the boat was not worthy of Luo Lin's identity, but she never thought that Luo Lin had already prepared a big move. Is there anything more shocking in this world than sitting on a certain island with a Sea King? Sure enough, a hero is. A hero. Hi. It's really high. Jelena, the girl in the peaked cap number 7, looked up at Luo Lin who was above the head of the Sea King, and sighed with emotion. Let's go. Roland stomped lightly on the top of the black sea snake's head and ordered. Summer Lala. The black sea snake swallowed the snake letter in response, bit the coated boat on the shore, and then a fierce man plunged into the sea and disappeared. Staying in place, Jelena, a girl in a peaked cap of number 7 who was shocked to the point of sluggish clapping. Chapter 638 Don't be afraid of the curse of the sea. Yamato. Stunned. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. Deep sea. This is an unknown land that humans have not yet conquered. Even One Piece King of Pirates Gol Roger has only conquered the sea route. For the pirate world dominated by the sea is countless times larger than the area occupied by the land. There are countless shipwreck treasures hidden in the sea, which is the largest treasure trove in the world. At the same time, in those inaccessible deep seas, there are unimaginable giant monsters living. Humans seem to have become the masters of this world. But if one day, these monsters in the sea unite to attack the human island, then the world will only be destroyed in a short time. From ancient times to the present, only the king of the sea, Poseidon, can dominate this deep sea. It happened 800 years ago. 800 years later, there are now, and there are still two. Now. Taking the 40-year agreement as a guide, in this era, the king and the king of this sea are about to meet. 3 minutes, 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers under the sea, the surrounding environment is already pitch black, and I can't see my fingers. Under Roland's special order. The 5,000-meter black snake gradually slowed down. Mouthed slightly, and spat out the coated boat in his mouth. Then manipulate the 2 slender tentacles near the chin, weaving into a cradle, in which the fragile coated boat is protected. This is the deep sea. Oh, what kind of fish looks so unique, and there. Yamato on the coated boat, after the initial discomfort, quickly adjusted, and his attention was attracted by the strange creatures around him that he had never seen before. Relying on the refined observation haki, Yamato can clearly identify and restore their shapes even in the deep sea where the 5 fingers cannot be seen. It's just so much time that I have encountered so many creatures. What will happen to the sea under 10,000 meters? Does Fishman Island in the 10,000-meter deep sea really have blue sky, white clouds, sandy beaches and sunshine? How spectacular is Sunshine Eve? The Merman and the Fishman clan on the island, the historical text of the Forest of the Sea, is comparable to Noah, the ark of the ship that is half the size of the island. And whether the legendary ancient weapon Sea King Mermaid Princess Poseidon was really born as prophesied, and what is the relationship between her and Mr. Roland? Yamato kept reciting the various records in the logbook, and his emotions were getting higher and higher. His yearning for Fishman Island was even stronger. Suddenly, with observation hockey to observe the marine life, caught a humanoid creature, sinking motionlessly into the deep sea. Yamato subconsciously followed up with observation hockey. Under this investigation, he was instantly shocked, because she found out that the humanoid was some kind of special deep-sea fish. Was clearly Luo Lin. Until then, she finally realized the fact that Lin was not on the coating boat. Is it because the little black snake dived too fast before Mr. Roland didn't react and was taken into the water? How could such a thing be possible? That's Mr. Roland. But the sinking figure is definitely not wrong. As a capable person, Mr. Luo Lin was really drowning. Thinking of this, Yamato's pretty face couldn't help but turn pale. Mr. Roland, what's the matter? Say something quickly. Yamato was nervous, and cried out in a loud voice. His eyes were flushed, his eyes were covered with mist, and he was about to cry. Just when Yamato panicked, the sea suddenly rippled. After a while, a familiar figure appeared in front of Yamato. What's the matter, big and little girl? I only slept for a while, and I'm going to cry. Roland shook his head helplessly. Mr. Rollins. Yamato's voice was raised more than an octave. Looking at Luo Lin, who was as nimble as a fish in the water, Yamato was so shocked that his jaw dropped to the ground. Something incredible happened to this man. After one person cannot have two abilities, he once again broke the iron rule of the devil fruit. He is clearly capable, but he is not cursed by the sea. No. Right now this is the case. Don't say that you are not restrained by the curse of the sea. This is clearly the blessing of the sea. This. Under the control of the emotion called shock, Yamato is already unable to say any complete words. Fortunately, Luo Lin had the ability to read minds, so he naturally knew why Yamato was surprised. Big and little girls, this is also one of my abilities, don't be too surprised. Roland calmly patted Yamato's shoulder. Instead, a fierce man plunged into the deep sea again. Little Black, let's speed up a little bit. Roland ordered. Shalala, the 5,000-meter black snake responded with a flick of its tail, making violent waves in the sea, driving its huge body to increase its speed sharply. After a quarter of an hour, Luo Lin and his party came to the deep sea of 9,000 meters. The environment here is getting more and more peculiar. The deep-sea fish that haunt around are also looking more and more peculiar. But right now, Yamato is obviously not concerned with observing fish. At this moment, she was still immersed in another subversive impact of the three views brought to her by Luo Lin, unable to extricate herself. In response, Roland just shook his head helplessly. Didn't stop too much. When first treading water and immersed in the deep, dark Grand Canyon deep sea 910 meters. Finally. The sun rips through the darkness and illuminates the deep sea. The deep sea is 10,000 meters. The Fishman Island is here. Chapter 639 Arrive at Fishman Island. The terror of the attackers. Open black lens bracket for subscription. Close black lens bracket. Fishman Island in the 10,000-meter deep sea, one of the miracle creation places in the world of pirates, can be called the creation of the world. There are the same sun, sand and white clouds as on land. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, I'm afraid no one would believe that this place is a deep sea bottom 10,000 meters below. A huge double-layer semicircular film shield surrounds the entire island. High, the 10,000-meter sun tree eve is rooted on the periphery of Fishman Island, and transmits the sunlight on the ground to the seabed without loss, making Fishman Island have the same day and night on the ground. At the same time, Yangshu Eve also has the function of making air, providing all kinds of infrastructure needed for life for the fish people of Fishman Island. It is precisely because of this unique geographical location and the human landscape that is at the forefront of the world, Fishman Island has become a holiday destination that people yearn for. Every year, I don't know how many sightseeing boats come to the Fishman Island in the 10,000-meter deep sea. At the same time, this is also a stopover station for pirates who want to go to the New World. Not only to fill the air for the coating, but also for the beauty of the Mermaid Bay on Fishman Island. The Mermaid Cafe also has a mermaid princess who is said to be unparalleled in beauty and is not inferior to the Pirate Queen. Ordinary female mermaid. In auction the reserve price on the field is high, 70 million Bailey. And there will never be a pass-through, which is an irresistible temptation for pirates who are greedy for money. Fishman Island doesn't know how many things happen every year. There is an incident of missing merman. However, in recent months, the number of pirates coming to Fishman Island has dropped sharply. The reason for this, in addition to the follow-up impact of the Waesung incident initiated by Roland, is also related to the ambitious activities of a certain Fishman gang. Roland's trip to Fishman Island is for the promise made 40 years ago. Compared to that agreement, other things are trivial and nothing to worry about. If there is someone who can't open his eyes and jump out and hit his muzzle, turn his hand and destroy it. But before that, after decades of revisiting his hometown, Luo Lin naturally has to take a good tour. Originally, in this deep-sea 10,000-meter Fishman Island, Luo Lin had planned to take Robin, Nami, etc. The little girls went on a trip together. With those youthful and energetic little girls there, it would be a lot more lively. However, considering the war after Fishman Island, Roland also dismissed this idea. Anyway, there will be opportunities in the future, and this time is not bad. Moreover, Luo Lin was not alone on this trip. Wow, what a beautiful scenery. Looking at the beautiful scenery in front of you under the light of the Sun Tree Eve, Yamato couldn't help but go crazy. Completely intoxicated with it, without self. Is this the Fishman Island, which is 10,000 meters deep in the sea? It's so magical and spectacular just from the outside. What kind of magical scene will it be inside the island? Yamato murmured subconsciously. Anyway, I won't be disappointed, let's go and see that young tree next. Roland Vivi Isho. Going beach under the sea first, walk towards the 10,000-meter giant tree that connects the seabed and the ground. Treasure Tree Adam, Sun Tree Eve, plus the most mysterious and unknown devil fruit tree. And mysterious plants in this pirate world. Forget the devil fruit tree. Adam and Eve, these two names, Roland is no stranger to them. In the Western Bible records, these two are the ancestors of human beings. In this pirate world, it must have its own special meaning. The tree of the sun, Eve, the source of life, I saw in the logbook, Mr. Odin and One Piece King of Pirates Roger once. The conversation between Odin and Roger in the logbook, and was about to inform Roland of their conclusion. However, he did not wait for Yamato to finish speaking. Dong dong dong, a slight vibration suddenly came from the going beach on the bottom of the sea, and the gravel fluctuated with the surging of the sea. Mr. Roland. Yamato, who was originally sitting on the coated boat, abruptly stood up. The beautiful eyes under the prajna mask locked onto the sea beasts running from the southeast. Lions, orangutans, giraffes, elephants, rhinos and squid, the underwater world is truly amazing. Yamato squinted Vivi's eyes, and looked at these with a bad expression. The uninvited guests who disturbed their interest in enjoying the beautiful scenery. Harmon, is it really boring to have only these two humans? A new member of the Fishman Pirates, the Moray Fishman Hammond rides on the head of a sea lion, drinking unrestrainedly and laughing. But the joy is only for a moment. Next second, Moray Fishman Hammond realized something was wrong. Turning his head stiffly, his eyes locked on Roland. When noticing Luo Lin's state at this time, when he was swimming on the seabed of 10,000 meters without any precautions, Moray Fishman Hammond's whole fish was stupid, as if he had seen the most incredible phenomenon in the world. His eyes were as wide as copper bells, and his mouth was wide open. His whole body was filled with extreme shock and disbelief. No, it's obviously human, why can it be unreasonable to move freely in the deep sea? Moray Fishman screamed in horror. Without blinking his eyes, he looked at the peaceful human standing on the seabed not far away, and an inexplicable sense of familiarity flooded into his heart. After a while, Moray Fishman Hammond's wide eyes shrank suddenly. The shock on his face was no longer, and instead there was a deep fear. He recognized Roland's identity. Wait, you are. Yes. Chapter 640 Ride the Sea King to the 40-year appointment. Open black lens bracket for subscription close black lens bracket. Wait, you are. Looking at Luo Lin on the seabed not far away, an inexplicable sense of familiarity flooded into my heart. After a moment of chaos, Moray Fishman Hammond has an answer. He thought of the source of that mysterious familiarity. In the past month or so, he had seen that face more than once. That face that almost shocked the whole world. Even if he lives in the 10,000-meter deep sea, he knows it well. That's the real human overlord. When realizing this shocking fact, the shock on Fishman's face gradually subsided. In its place, utter fear emerges. Even the light of the sun tree Eve, who was close at hand, could not make him feel the slightest warmth. The shadow of fear called death has completely enveloped his body. Ah! A sharp scream erupted. You, the overlord of mankind, why are you here? Moray Fishman Hammond screamed uncontrollably. The body involuntarily retreats. He wants to escape. However, it has never been able to escape the shadow area called death. Damn it, if you want me to die, even if you are the overlord of mankind, don't think about it better. Fishman Hammond's taut heartstrings snap, fueled by fear of death. Fear turned into hysterical frantic yelling. Sea beasts, North Blue giant monster, give me all of them and defeat him. Completely insane, Fishman Hammond orders the attack to his sea beasts. Ho-a-ho. The 300-meter-sized North Blue giant monster, the giant squid tentacles into fists, waved at will. In an instant, the sea swelled, and it looked quite powerful. Sea lions, sea rhinos, etc. The lower sea beasts all followed the orders and stepped forward. Ha, go to hell, I must have misunderstood before. You are an ordinary, weak human. Sea beasts, tear him to pieces. Moray Fishman Hammond's self-deceiving mouth is smug, but his body is honest and can't stop. On the other hand, the sea beast that received Hammond's order began to show its fangs. But the next second, the movements of the sea beasts all stopped. Those pair of beastly blood-red eyes couldn't help but flooded with an emotion called fear. Hey, you guys, what are you still doing? You're about to kill that human. Moray Fishman Hammond yells. This time, however, his orders were useless. All the sea beasts widened their eyes in horror, as if they had encountered the most terrifying existence in the world. Immediately afterwards, all the sea beasts, including the giant squid, let out a scream of fear, and then Hulula circled as the birds and beasts scattered, fled in desperation, and disappeared into the depths of the sea in the blink of an eye. Bastards, are you going to rebel? Fishman Hammond, whose heart was cold for the most part, shouted in exasperation. The next moment, he finally knew the reason for the abnormality of the sea beasts. He saw the giant Orochi head rising slowly from beneath the sand. That is the overlord of the deep sea, the super-large sea king. Hey, without Luo Lin's instructions, the 5,000-meter level black snake and the 100-meter-long snake letter swallowed, and wrapped the fearful and stiff Fishman Hammond into the belly. Come on, go straight to Fishman Island. By Fishman Hammond, Roland lost his interest in playing slowly, and in a flash he fell onto the head of the 5,000-meter black snake. The other side. The little black snake consciously grabbed Yamato's coated boat with its tentacles. With a swipe of the tail, it is interesting to move towards the huge bubble island not far away. The other side. Fishman Island Border Office Entry. The moment the hidden 5,000-meter level black snake appeared, the fishman soldiers near the entrance of the country were aware of its existence. Instant, the Fishman Island Immigration Registration Office fell into extreme chaos, and the alarm sounded. Sea King class. Ring the alarm, the super large sea kings are coming towards us. What the hell is going on for no reason? Why did the super large sea kings come here? Now is the time to say this, get ready to deal with it, and notify the king and boss Jinbei. Fishman soldiers at the Immigration Bureau panicked and shouted in horror. Hey, wait. Everyone, look, there is someone on the head of the Sea King. At this moment, a sharp-eyed fishman soldier keenly caught something, and his face couldn't help but show extreme shock. Under his reminder, more and more fishman soldiers became aware of the presence of the Sea King's heads. An emotion called shock immediately spread throughout the audience. That person is the legendary ...